You died again.
Holy shit! Kirsten! Stop! Stop! Kirsten! Quit! Quit!
Let me take a wild guess. If you've had any dealings with video games because of yourself or your children maybe, you've heard someone say that video games are basically this blight on the young people. They serve no purpose. These countless hours wasted in front of the screen are just barriers to succeed later in life. They may incite violence even. I would wager that you have also heard someone mention that video games are just the best. It's a great pastime, it's a new form of media, it's interactive, people learn problem-solving skills, maybe a foreign language, their reactions get faster. It's just amazing, right? Well, if you are unsure, want a balanced view of the subject, I have been an avid gamer for about 20 years, and in the past 3 years I have really dug deep into self-development. And with this kind of personal history, I have developed an idea or two about what video games actually do to you, what the risks are, what needs to be overcome to get yourself rid of the addiction, and if it even is an addiction. So, let's get straight into it, and welcome to PsychePete's channel. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Peter Novak and I do videos on self-development, so mainly improving your focus, your concentration, finding a vision for your life if you feel aimless, and removing all the obstacles that are between you and your success. So for more videos on these topics, feel free to subscribe, I will be happy to see you here. And with that being said, let's go straight into video games and video game addiction. So first things first, we need to define our terms. I believe that if you clicked on this video, you already know what a video game is. So what is the difference between video game consumption or enjoyment and video game addiction? As far as I know, video game addiction is not a recognized psychological disorder, unlike, for example, alcoholism, gambling, or binge eating. But to answer this question, we don't really have to go very far, because we only need to understand what general addiction means, and it is basically a habit that has gone pathological. It is difficult to break it. You really feel a strong need to fulfill the needs of this habit, and especially if it affects your life in a negative way. When applied to video games, we can start to better understand if this is just a way to spend free time, or if everything else becomes secondary to it. But with this basic understanding, this is where things actually start to become more tricky, because it's not easy to draw a line between I just want to do this because it's fun and I just want to do this because I have no other option. My addiction is forcing me to continue no matter what. It is also not helpful that the subject is usually not able to recognize where to draw the line themselves. And there is no magic number, like if you play the game for 2 hours a day, you're fine, but if you play it for 4 hours a day, you're an addict. You can't say that. Instead, unfortunately, there is no quick fix. We have to look at the situation as the complex thing it is, and we have to understand if the person actually wants to do this and it really has no negative impact on their executive function, and when they basically want to do something else but they keep falling into this trap of easy distraction. I would illustrate that on my own example. When I was a teenager in my lower teens, I really enjoyed video games and I enjoyed spending time with my friends and playing outside as well, but the video games were my main hobby. In my later teens, however, I started to be more interested in philosophy, science, especially biology. I was more interested in going outside and doing something active with my body as well, to lose some extra weight that I had from all the sitting around when I was younger. And I found out that I can't really shake it anymore. I can't really decide to stop playing. I have tried multiple times and I have succeeded, but I always went back. And this is the moment where I started to be a little bit cautious about the situation, because I didn't feel fully in control of that. But it would be many years until I fully realized it and was able to actually fully get rid of it. In these two examples, you can probably see the difference that I'm hinting at. The first example, I really wanted to do these activities, and in the second, I really didn't, but I just went back to them because it was a habit and it was so strong that I couldn't really replace it with something more productive, even though I want it. Another way to assess if this is indeed an addiction is, of course, to look at what a negative effect it is having on your life if it is a severe case. So let's say you're playing for 8, 9, even 10 hours a day. You will really have no time for anything else, basically. You might start to neglect everything, including maybe food and hygiene, not talking about your social interactions, your friends, going outside, fitness. This will all be scrapped. And if you can look at how unbalanced your life is, you don't really need to do a massive introspection about your wants and needs. You can just see that like this cannot continue. No matter if we call it addiction or not, this is taking over your life. The third important factor to remember is what are actually your goals with all this time playing video games? Are you thinking about becoming a pro player? Are you thinking about becoming a streamer or a gaming YouTuber? If the answer is no to all the above, where is this drive to sacrifice all of your time to the video game coming from? From my experience, people who don't really want to go pro but still use the vast majority of their time to get better or just to progress in a game, they forget that what they are doing is not really going anywhere. It is not so difficult to completely forget about it, and your mind is not going to go out of its way to leave the comfort zone and actually confront you with the uncomfortable truth that what you are doing is not really productive. And the situation is not clear-cut, like the answer will be yes or no. There will be many, and I would say probably most people that spend so long with playing video games that will be like, yeah, I consider being a pro. I feel like I could be. It would be great if I would be. I could probably win some tournaments. I'm getting so good that I could really make a career out of this. But it is really in the stage of a dream and not a vision. They don't really have a plan for how to achieve this, and they are probably also lying to themselves about their skill in the game. The pros are really good. Like for example, when you play modded Skyrim or The Witcher 3 for the 5th time, you're probably not increasing your chances in becoming a pro in League of Legends, right? So we need to be honest to ourselves. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the career of a professional gamer is a terrible idea. I actually think that the future of esports is looking quite bright, and the Twitch streaming and like kind of even the YouTube. Even if you're not gaming per se, you can still become a developer or go another IT route. You can be a designer, you can be a creative that is actually making the ideas for how the games are going to work. There's endless opportunities, and this industry doesn't seem to be going away. Last thing I want to mention in relation to recognizing whether this is just consumption or already a full-fledged addiction is how it actually happens that games are so attractive and why are they so addictive. They are basically a very, very highly rewarding stimulus that is extremely easy to approach, extremely easy to change the experience. It saves you a lot of time compared to other hobbies, it costs much less money than other hobbies, it's just efficient. Like the efficiency of the time you put in and what the sacrifices you have to do to get back the result of dopamine, basically, of the stimulation, of the excitement, of the fun. It is this low effort combined with the massive reward that makes video games so attractive. And it's very important to mention, by the way, this is especially for parents. Video games are not like a thing. Video games are a great variety of different experiences. It is actually true that you will learn a lot when playing video games. It is true that you could develop highly advanced problem-solving skills. You can even develop managerial skills if you're into MMO gaming, for example, which is with many other players. where there is a chain of command, and it gets very complicated sometimes. Like, the problems that the gamers are solving within the game are often much more complicated than what normal people deal with in daily lives. And if you are playing action games, yes, your reaction times will go up and your orientation in space will get much better. There is scientific research that backs this all, and it's true. This is what adds to the addictive nature of the games further, because they are honestly good. They are very interesting. It's not just tricking your mind into like playing the next level or something. That's a very old conception of what a video game actually does. It can offer you a wide range of experiences. If you don't have a clear vision of how to utilize all this time spent, there is probably a more productive way to spend your time. By productive, I definitely don't mean at a job. I mean by pursuing whatever you want, by building whatever you want in life. And if you will be constantly stuck between you putting all your extra time into games that you will not build into anything, and not having any time left to build something in your life will in the end be very empty. You will just be doing the same thing over and over again and building nothing. And with this realization, I believe that if what you are building within the virtual world is not able to enhance what you have in your real world, you will have to give priority to the real world. By the way, important before I go to my closing comments, please, if you have recognized yourself or someone that you care about having an issue with video games just based on what I said, don't rush to try to change it. Definitely don't try to blame them for it. It's no one's fault, and in the future videos we are going to discuss how it is possible to work with it, either in the direction of actually cultivating something from this passion, or by cultivating other passion that in the future can replace this video game addiction. So please, be reasonable. Definitely don't do anything rash, especially if it's someone you care about. You may do much more damage than good and actually fixate this addiction forever. And with that being said, I hope I will see you in the second part of the series on video games. If you like the content and did get some value from this, I would be very happy if you click the like button and maybe subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. And with that, I'll see you later. Cheers!